Hey folks, Joe and Scout here. Thanks for tuning in. We're just in the local woodlot. We're walking towards a patch of woods where I can sit down and answer a bunch of your questions for my question and answer giveaway video. Come on, Scout. Well, this is where I wanted to sit and have a fire. Sit on my sitting log and have a fire. But that's not gonna happen right here, obviously. It got flooded out pretty bad. I'm gonna try and walk around and go over to that side. Maybe we can find a spot to sit and have a small fire. There he comes. Where were you, bud? Where were you? Where'd you go? Go on. Come on, leave it. Let's go. Come on. Okay. Maybe I will forego the fire right now. If I get a little chilly, I'll get it going and I'll make up some tea and stuff, but should be okay right now. So, question and answers, right? Like I said, I'm in a local woodlot. I do have reception. I'm just going to read right off my phone the questions and then answer them as I go. I brought a paper and pen so that I can put my top 5 questions, write my top 5 questions down, and then I will put them in a hat and pull it out all on camera, because I've got people telling me, you're just going to pick your friends anyways, you're not even going to do a real giveaway and stuff, because people, you guys really know me and you know what's up. So yeah, anyways, I've had people saying that. I want to just make it known that I'm not going to do that, so I'll do it on film so you all believe me, which really anyways, so that video where I asked you for questions for my question and answer video got 144,000 views in 5 days, and it has over 10,000 comments, over 10,000 comments. So you have to understand how this is going to work. I'm not going to read 10,000 comments. I can't, right? What I am going to do is I'm going to read a bunch from a section, answer them, scroll down like crazy, answer a bunch from another section, scroll down like crazy, and do it that way. I can't read 10,000 comments. It's just impossible, right? So again, and then I'll write the 5 top comments on, pull out of the hat, and then the top 2 winners out of that win the prizes. Okay, here we go. And if you don't get your question answered, it's because it's been answered 100 times already in previous videos. It's because I don't want to answer it, or it's because I'll answer it in another video, I just haven't got to it. So I have enough questions here where I can actually do a series of this and do like 2 or 3 answer videos if that's something you guys want to see. Okay, first question from the Wild Woods. Here's my question to you. When you get scared half to death, what happens when it occurs twice? You die. We've seen your stickers and logo on a backpack and whatnot, but do you have any future plans or dreams of starting your own company with your own apparel, tools, accessories? I will be. That's the answer. Yeah, I do. I do want to do that. In the process of getting 2 knives made right now, 2 signature knives made. My logo on it, everything. It's a Joe Robinet knife. I want to do it with an axe. I haven't been able to find an axe maker to do that with yet. I'm planning on putting out hats and shirts as well very soon. All right, this one's from Stay Sideways. Hey Joe, what do you think is the best kind of shelter for any rainy weekend campouts? A tarp. If there's no bugs, I think a tarp is the best shelter. In 3 seasons, I'm going to be using a tarp, and then in the bug season, I'm going to be using a tent with a mesh screen or a bivvy with a mesh. But for rain, a tarp, that's what I would go with. A sil nylon tarp, preferably a lightweight sil nylon tarp. I like a square tarp because you can set it up in different configurations. Jonathan Missimer says, hey Joe, hello. Boris Petrovsky, have you had any other pets? Yes, I have. I've had a ton of pets in the past. I used to be an aspiring herpetologist. I had red-tailed boas, I had veiled chameleons, I had bearded dragons, I had African bullfrogs, I had pixie frogs, I had Pac-Man frogs, I had red-eyed tree frogs, I had a big-eyed tree frog, I had a White's tree frog, a Cope's gray tree frog. I've had a ton of amphibians and reptiles. I've had turtles and snapping turtles. I've had 2 other dogs in my life. I had a standard poodle and then a mutt. And right now we have Scout, Spike, which is a big fat orange Garfield kind of cat. We have Squeaks, which is some random cat. We found her mom in the bush like 10 years ago. She had no tail. She had a bunch of kittens. We kept one, and that's Squeaks. She's like this random rabid raccoon looking kind of cat that sometimes you'll see her lurking around in my house videos. And then also we have had a hamster named Eye Face. He only had one eye. We've had a bunch of rats. My first rat was Algernon, obviously after the book Flowers for Algernon. I know Algernon was a mouse, not a rat. Lots of animals, lots of pets. What is your idea of an all-around jack of trades axe by John Dool? Jack of all trades axe, which my opinion would be like a 23-inch, the same length as a Les Stroud Wetterling's Bushman axe, but not with that funky head on it, with a normal like Dayton pattern, 1.5 to 2 pound, probably 1 3/4 pound head on a 23-inch handle. It would be great, with a big swell at the bottom, some contours on the handle. I don't care about name brands or anything like that. An old head put on that handle would be an ideal axe. Garrick, hey Joe, I have to ask, what is your favorite time of year to get out and camp? The fall. The fall is my absolute favorite time of year. There's no bugs. You have that bite in the air still. I love waking up in the morning with this like bite in my nose from the cold air. You guys know what I mean if you've ever been out and experienced it. No bugs. Gets up to a good temperature in the daytime. Sometimes, if it's warm enough and if you've been busting your butt enough in the day working or canoeing or whatever you're doing, you can actually swim in the fall, which is welcomed, you know what I mean, if you're very warm. Definitely fall, then probably winter, spring, and then summer at the last. Summer because of the heat and the bugs. From Air IE, Joe Robinet Bushcraft, would you ever go abroad to do bushcraft videos like Scotland, Norway, or other places? Yeah, 100% I would. I actually had the opportunity, had an opportunity to go to Norway for a week this year, and I wanted to do it, and I was trying to get that done, but the people who were trying to get me to do it just flaked out on me and stopped replying. So I was kind of bummed out at that, but there will be other experiences, other opportunities, and I will be other places to do stuff for sure. You do know that asking of YouTube comments is like pissing in the wind, right? By Esby. Okay, next question is by Hectic Straw. How was the first time you went out camping alone? It was fine. I've had a lot of experience camping with other people first. That's probably helped a lot. And my dog. I have Scout with me a lot. I can't remember if he was the first time I went out alone was with him or not. But it was fine. You just have to get out and experience it. And if you have some kind of qualms or reservations about going out alone, try to get a buddy to go with you the first time. You know what I mean? Or if you're out and you're not feeling it, just go home. It's okay. Leave a note saying where you're going to be, all that stuff. And if you're not feeling it, just go home. You don't have anybody to impress. I don't have anybody to impress. If you go out and you're not feeling it, or if you're hungry and you don't have enough food, or you're cold and you don't have adequate gear and stuff, if you're not having fun, if you're not out there to test yourself in the first place and doing that on purpose, just bail. I'm not going to think any less of you, I'll guarantee you that. Captain Heebs, what was the worst injury you've ever sustained in the outdoors alone? How did you deal with it in the field? I cut my finger really badly, maybe a good inch below my knuckle on this finger. So I was splitting wood, actually with this knife, with this Adventure Sworn knife, and I had my piece of wood in my hand. I was splitting it down like that, but the piece of wood I was splitting it on top of, on the ground, was just a small little stick, and it rolled, and I cut myself really bad. And I was 40 minutes from my car, and then another 40-minute drive home. And I didn't have any kind of first aid kit on me at all because I was just out fishing, and I just was trying to make a little split wood fire. So I cut my sock, cut a band off my sock, tied it around my finger really tight, kept the pressure on very, very tight, tied it around my finger, and held my hand above my head as I rode my bike with one hand 40 minutes to my car, loaded up my bike in my car, and drove home like this, right? The idea is I'm keeping it above my heart to try not to send blood to it. I had to get stitched up, and it was fine and everything, but like, yeah, You're just gonna take that stick? Oh. The safety kit in the field is priority number one for sure. Even if you don't think you need it, even if you don't think you're going out to do anything, if you're going outside, you need a little, at least a little PSK, personal survival kit, or sorry, FAK, first aid kit. Israel McGuire, have you ever broken a bone and how did you deal with it? I have not. I have not broken a bone. I imagine I would deal with it by putting it in a splint if possible. By Duncan McWilliam, I feel like you handled that poorly. The outdoors is not yours. You should be happy that someone came and enjoyed the outdoors same as you. I assume he's talking about Mark, the whole Mark situation. I gotta address that. Some of you guys need to frickin' take a chill pill right now. You think that I was angry? You think that I was pissed off? You guys are living in a secluded kind of bubble if you think that was pissed off. I said what the heck a couple times, you know what I mean? I took some tape off of a tree and rearranged my rocks. I got over that, legit. I got over that in 2 minutes, and you guys are, some of you guys are acting like I frickin' persecuted the guy. And the fact of the matter is, you have no idea about the situation, about the background, about what anything happened there. And I got the old Joe Robinet plane coming ahead. Let me give you a tiny little bit of background because like it was ridiculous. I got frickin' raped in those comments. I have been going there in that same spot for almost 10 years now, okay? I have had multiple shelters built at that exact location, building them the same way and keeping them low profile on purpose, okay? I have been there for 8 to 10 years now. I have never once come across anything like this. Can you maybe just think of how I would be a little bit put off by that? You know what I mean? Not even pissed off. Not pissed off, but put off. Do you understand? Like, something's not right. Right? So you go to a place, a certain place, for so long, and you have this routine, right? It is a routine. I come in, I find my camp, I start up my fire, I know where everything is, and then I come this one time, in 8 to 10 years, probably closer to 8 if I'm being honest, and everything's awry. I know nothing's messed up. I understand that he didn't mess anything up, and I'm grateful for that because I have had that happen before in other spots. I get that. I get that completely. And I wasn't pissed off. And the fact of the matter is, if Mark came while I was there, I would have done nothing but moved over, said have a seat, and shared my stuff with him. And anybody who knows me in real life knows that that's the truth. And if you don't believe me, there's nothing that I can do for you. I don't care. If you don't believe me, if you think I'm an asshole, don't watch my videos. You know what I mean? Here's a cool little idea too. I find that when like, I know I don't like a specific author or actor or YouTube channel or TV show or movie, I just don't watch it. That's a novel idea, right? I just don't watch it. Instead of watching it and getting pissed off and thinking I know the backstory and the deal and commenting like, you're the worst person in the world, I hope you die, F your family. Like, really? 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 I left out of there for respect out of Mark. He wrote his age and his phone number on the thing. He's not a kid, and he's not a transient. To get where I was, you have to drive there. Mark has a car, guys. Mark has a cell phone, guys. He's not a transient. He's not in a rough place or a rough time. And I don't care if he goes there. I honestly don't care if he goes there. What I didn't like, what I didn't appreciate was seeing garbage next to in my shelter, right? Because I try to keep the place clean and I try to keep it a low profile. And I built it small, okay? And I got flack for building it small. You guys, I get flack for anything I do. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? If I wasn't put off or a little bit concerned about Mark being there, I would have got all these comments saying like, oh, you're not prepared, you have no presence of mind or safety. You understand, you follow me, right? You follow me. That no matter what I do, and not just me, there's a forced positivity thing on YouTube. No matter what I do, no matter what big YouTubers do, there's going to be these group of douchebags who are going to always, constantly go to that and just like criticize no matter what. You know what I mean? So, Mark was 40 years old. He left that on the note, guys. 40. He's not a kid. I'm not afraid of butt hurting his feelings. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? He's 40 years old. If he wants to go there, he can go there all he wants. But you know what? I can too. And I can take down the frickin' electrical tape on trees that are going to grow around. If I don't take that off, what is that going to do? It's going to either lose its stickiness and fall on the ground and litter the place, or the tree's going to bind around it. You know what I mean? No situation is good. And I understand where my shelter is, I am leaving stuff there too. But the fact of the matter is, I know where that is. I do go back there, and if I ever moved away, I'll be taking that stuff down. I don't take it down because I go there and I frequent that spot a lot. Ethan Hopewell, can you make a super shelter for the next one? Yeah, I hope to. I actually planned on doing that. I was supposed to be gone right now to do that. Unfortunately, my wife's grandma suddenly passed away. She wasn't on her deathbed or anything like that. So this whole week has been like, you know, the showing, going to the funeral and doing all the funeral type arrangements. And then today we have 2 showings and tomorrow's the actual funeral. So it's been a whole week of that, but I'm hoping next week, early week, I can get going and do that super shelter video. I'm really wanting to do that. This is by It's Wreck. There's something I've been on my mind for a while regarding how to go to the toilet in the wild. I know there's videos out there, but none of them are that great, so maybe just an explanation of safe and hygienic way to do stuff. Yeah, well, basically, I dig a hole, right? About that deep if you can get to it. If not, you know what I mean? Sometimes you really can't. So you kick a depression as deep as you can. You get this hole as deep as you can get it. What I like to do, it's all different with different people and different body shapes and stuff, but I can actually pull down my pants completely and just have the, just pull it away from my body and keep it on my legs. And I literally just squat. I just do a squat and I grab, if there's a tree in front of me, I usually position it so that I can have a tree, and I squat and I grab the tree. And I hold it there, and I just kind of, if I have to, I pull my pants away, because, you know, sometimes you got to pee as you're pooping. Do the old number 3, the old bird, the old bird bathroom, poo and pee at the same time. Yeah, and then I bring toilet paper and baby wipes, and I'll clean it up real good, and then I have hand sanitizer that I use, and I make sure the baby wipes are biodegradable and everything like that. They're like the ones to use outside. Bury it all up really good. Tamp it down, and I usually take a stick, especially if we're in the same area, camping in the same area. I take a stick and I stab it into it normally, so it's like a flag waving out just to show people that don't go there, kind of thing. Leave it, bud. But yeah, make sure you're using hand sanitizer too, because everybody's always touching things and like shaking hands and eating food, trail mix out of bags and stuff. It could get really messy, but the hand sanitizer really helps with that. And it's good for fire lighting too. Actually, hand sanitizer, it's got so much alcohol in it, you can squeeze it. You can strike it with a fire steel or a lighter. Redneck Red, how about if it's not yours, don't touch it and stay the F out? That's how we roll here in Canada. We're not as nice as people think. If you could bushcraft anywhere on Earth or off-world, what time era? No. Mark Frey, would you be willing to appear on a Best of the Best Alone Superstars Alone Again? I watch all of your vids, and the day they come out, you have the best bushcraft channel on YouTube. Well, thank you very much. In all honesty, I don't think I could go on the Best of Alone. I think I could go on the Lost of Alone. I would do it again, 100% in a heartbeat. I did not prove anything to anyone, especially myself, being out there. When we got season 1, when we got picked, we didn't know that there was a prize. We didn't know the severity of the prize or anything like that, the grand prize. We all did that. I can tell you, honestly, all of us in season 1 came out to do this for the experience. And I'm not saying season 2 or 3 didn't either. I just don't know those guys at all. But season 1, we had no idea about the grand prize. We wanted to prove ourselves to ourselves. This was for me, this was a lifelong dream. I could never do this stuff on my own. I could never go and afford to go live and have the legality freedom to do the stuff that we were able to do on there. And I really feel raped. I really feel robbed about that whole experience. So I would love to do it again. And if I'm being completely honest with you guys, which I try to do through my videos and get killed over it, I don't think I could win. For the mere fact, Alan lost the same amount of body weight that I weigh, basically, on season 1. I'm skin and bones, guys. I'm a $140 soaking wet. You know what I mean? I have no meat on my bones. And it's just the reality of the situation. I don't have enough reserves to win. But I do have the gumption and the frickin' desire to go back out and try and stay as long as I can. That's what I would be doing it for. Percussionator 57. What is the tattoo on your hand for, and what's the story behind it? I have a small W on my hand. It's faded. It looks like a CV now because it's all faded. W is for my wife. Her name's Wilhelmina. She got a J on her ankle maybe 8 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, even longer, 9 or 10 years ago, and I got a W. Mitul Agarwal. The next one's by Mitul Agarwal. I'm sorry if I'm probably butchering that. Joe, what's the backstory on how you got into bushcraft? It was always a way of life or a type of camping. I've always wanted to ask you. So, I've always been interested in the outdoors. When I was young, I would go out and build shelters and track animals and try to hunt rabbits with a fake bow and arrow and just mess around, learn my trees and stuff like that. But when I got to be about 15, I really got the desire to do it. I started watching Survivor Man. I started watching Morris Kahansky. Sorry, not Morris Kahansky. Ray Mears, and then reading Morris Kahansky's books. So those three guys were a very, very big inspiration to me. I actually moved up north with my wife and I took a natural resources program out at Sioux College in Sault Ste. Marie, where we learned, we dealt much more deeper into tree identification, animal tracking. We had a survival class where we built a Quincy, which is like a snow cave, and slept in it for 2 days at negative 40 degrees Celsius every night with a bunch of students. I took a bunch of courses from Iowa woodsman Terry Barney. He lives down in Iowa. He knows the deal. That guy's the real deal. He's on YouTube. His name is IA Woodsman on YouTube, and he is legit. He became my mentor, a good buddy, and all that. So I went down and took a bunch of courses with him and helped him with some courses and stuff. Yeah, but I'd say my huge inspirations were Les Stroud and Ray Mears. When I first saw Ray Mears Bushcraft on like PBS or whatever, I was just blown away. Hayden Frechette. Marry one, kill one, sleep with one. Bushcraft YouTubers only. I can't do that. And then 2, what's the backstory with the tattoos, especially the sweet one with the guy's face and the gun? Oh, that's not a sweet tattoo at all. That is the worst tattoo in the world. I wish that I never got that tattoo. I was 16 years old, and it's flash tattoo, like something that you see on the wall, and you're like, oh, that's cool, I want to get that. And I saw this guy holding the gun with a red hat, and I was like, that's a really cool picture, I want to get that tattooed. I thought I was a gangster, you know what I mean? I thought I was a little thug, right? So, yeah, I almost got my butt beat a couple times because of that tattoo. I imagine because he has a red hat and because Bloods and Crips, but like I live in Canada, guys, so I really don't know. It should hold no weight at all. But anyways, that's gonna be redone really soon. I'm gonna get that covered up like within a couple months. I got an owl here. I've got a bunch of cover-ups. I got a wolf face. I got a tree. So I'll be getting Scout. I'll be getting a little hiker guy with Scout. I think a dog on my arm and stuff soon. A couple new tattoos soon. My advice: don't get tattoos until you're older and you actually really know what you like. Legit. Same thing with these stupid earrings. People ask me all the time, oh, what's with the plugs? Does it help you bushcraft better? No, I think these are dumb too. I think these are retarded, but you know what it is? If I don't wear these, I have these huge holes in my ears that look, stop drinking that look even worse. I did this when I was really young, 14 or 15. I stretched this like by myself with a pen. With a pen, guys. They don't go back down now. I ruined my ears. I split them. Don't stretch your ears. Life lessons from somebody who's done it. How many videos do you have Scout in? The C Squad. I don't know. I'd say 90% of my videos have Scout in them. The only time I really don't have Scout in my videos is when I go far and I go for an extended time and I need him home. Yoni Moscow. My 13-year-old daughter and I are going up to hit our first 3-night off trail as soon as the weather breaks, upstate New York. When first starting out, how important is it to buy gear that's heavy on the price side to ensure longevity as opposed to buying all sorts of cheaper gear to test and evaluate? I think, personally, well, the way that I did it was I was all cheap gear all the time for the longest time. I'm talking Canadian Tire and Walmart. Okay, because we don't even have, in Windsor where we are, I don't even have like a Dick's Sporting Goods or a Bass Pro or any of that stuff, a Sale, any of those stores never existed around here. And when I started out, ordering things online was sketchy. And I didn't have money. You know what I mean? So I always did things the cheap way. Everything was bulkier. Things broke, but they still worked. And that's the point. If you have to double up on a sleeping bag because you have 2 crappy sleeping bags, that's fine. You know what I mean? You're just not going to be able to go as far distance-wise. And if you're just starting out, that shouldn't be an issue anyways. That shouldn't be a goal anyways. You should be out there experiencing it, finding out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Don't go and invest all this tons of money. Maybe you're not going to like it. Or maybe you're going to like it and your kid's not going to like it. You know what I mean? I would say go the cheap route first until you know that this is something you're going to enjoy, something that you're going to like, something that you're going to do for the rest of your life, or at least a good chunk of your life. And then start investing big bucks into it. Or don't. Just continue doing what you're doing until your gear doesn't work anymore, and then replace it with cheap gear or expensive gear. Who cares? The biggest thing is being out. It's so different because a lot of you guys only know me now. You only know me now for the past 2 or 3 years, not even past year, where things are blowing up, and I'm getting free gear given to me, and I'm getting. Okay, well, sorry about that. I'm at home now, obviously. I only brought one battery, thinking that I'm only doing a question and answer video. I don't need more than one battery, but as you know, I like to ramble on. So Yoni Moscow again with the cheap or the expensive gear. Go cheap gear until you know that you want to do this. I think I started saying that you guys only know me, or most of you, or some of you at least, only know me from the past year. I've been doing this stuff for a long time, and when I first started out, I was using like a JanSport backpack, you know what I mean, from Walmart, and just super heavy gear, and big old army boots that I got from the surplus store, or actually even before that, steel toe boots I got from Canadian Tire, work boots I was hiking around in. You can do this stuff with minimal money. For sure. Jason Main, what is your favorite backpacking food? Dehydrated spaghetti that I make, or that my wife makes and I dehydrate, or chili, but the spaghetti itself. And when I say spaghetti, I know a lot of purists, it's pasta, just pasta with meat sauce. I don't really know if it's spaghetti or not. I call any kind of noodles spaghetti. So homemade pasta, meat sauce, mixed all together, then dehydrated. Super easy to rehydrate. Tastes very good. And then chili as well. And that's for backpacking. But camping in general, it'll be a steak on the coals any day. Clemzilla. Would you consider doing any hunting, kind of kill it, cook it, eat vids, whether it's fishing, rabbits, or whatever? Also, I think it's time you added vlogs to your channel. Well, I do the fishing videos. When I do catch fish, I do eat them. So I don't have my hunting license. I was supposed to fix that last year, but we'll fix that this year. I do have my non-restricted PAL, which means I can own firearms. I will be getting my firearms license this year. I'll be doing the hunter safety course, and hopefully in the fall I'll be able to go on a couple small hunts. But in all reality and honesty, like, the survival-y part of it, where I know that this isn't the question I'm getting here, but I get a lot of the same question about like the survival aspect of it. Like, well, it's not legal to just go and spear animals or set like snares if you don't have a trapping license and things like that. So the legality issue is a really big thing. I can't just do these things and then put them on video. You know what I mean? It's illegal, right? A lot of the things. But what I can do, I will be doing this year. So this year I have a spring trip in Algonquin where I'm going to be catching trout, hopefully, and eating them on the fire different ways. And then in the summer, later on in this spring, early summer in June, I have a fly-in fishing trip to Woodland Caribou, where all we're going to be doing is fishing and eating it. You know what I mean? So there will be that stuff, and I have done that in the past tons of times with the fish. I did get a squirrel one time too. Early on in my YouTube career, there's a video called Squirrel Lunch, and I got a squirrel, pretty brutal way, and cooked him up over the fire and ate him without having any kind of knowledge of it or anything myself. Just kind of cleaned it like I would clean a fish. But yes, more of that stuff to come to my channel for sure. Another Scout question. Sarah Smith Martinez, how old is Scout? How long has he been your camp buddy? He'll be 10 in October, and he has been my camp buddy ever since I got him. I started taking him out on day trips at like 4 months of age, and then canoe trips and camping trips and stuff like that. When I lived up north, it was a lot easier. There was a lot more area to go Tommy P. Films. What other hobbies do you have instead of camping? Camping kind of became my big thing. Became my big thing, and it has been, and it stayed my big thing for a long time. Um, I used to enjoy skateboarding. I used to enjoy rollerblading, aggressive inline rollerblading, where you're grinding and jumping and things like that. Then I got into mountain biking. I'm a little bit into video games right now. I never really been into video games my whole life. I was not allowed to have video games when I was young. I was raised very Christian, I guess. They didn't, for lack of a better word, they didn't want any kind of like distractions and stuff. We would go on television fasts. We'd go on TV fasts for 40 days at a time and stuff like that. Just very extreme. But I wasn't allowed to have it. I never really had an affinity for games, like video games and stuff growing up. But my wife got me a PlayStation for Christmas, and I've been playing it a little bit, so that takes up some of my time while I'm home. But while I am home, when I'm not doing camping trips and doing bushcraft overnighters and things like that, I'm home. I don't really have friends around my area, and the friends that I do have aren't into this stuff. I don't really talk to people anymore. I'm a homebody, you know what I mean? I stay at home with my family. I watch my kid when my wife's at work, and then when they're all at home, we're here together. We're spending time together, we're cooking together, we're cleaning together, we're watching movies together, going on vacation together. So it's lots of family stuff eats up my time. Not eats up, but takes up my time when I'm not camping. What is the best way to get started in hiking, camping, and bushcrafting? Gary Burnett. Just do it. The best way to get into it is you're already into it if you have an interest. You're already into it if you're asking me this question. But I would say if you live in the States, find a state park that's close to your home. If you can't drive, maybe ask your parent to go with you. If you're older, go ahead, go by yourself, go with a friend, whatever. And then just kind of check out the area, find out a spot that might be suitable for camping, and then just take it easy. Do a one-night overnighter kind of thing with your car there, close enough, have all your gear in the car. Just take it slow. It's not rocket science. It's not hard. It's nothing. You know what I mean? It's just another thing to learn. So just go out and do it. There's a ton of resources online. There's a ton of resources in books. What is a proper way, your method of pooping in the woods, and what do you do if the ground is frozen? This is a reoccurring question. I'm reading it here, and I'm getting a lot of questions about the pooping in the woods question. But the ground being frozen is another key to it, another element to it that I haven't seen. So I'm going to write that one down. I think that's a very good question. That's by D. Scientist. There's not much you can do. If there's a ton of snow around, you're going far, far, far away from people or from traveled areas or for your camp. Not uphill, not towards the water. Away. And scoop out that snow as much as you can and just poop and put the snow back on it. If the ground is frozen, there's nothing you can do. You're not going to sit there for 20 minutes with a little shovel picking at the dirt when you got to poo. When you got a little turtle head poking out, when you're ready to go, you are not going to be digging up the ground. That is just the reality of the situation. So you're going to dig a hole in the snow or stomp a hole in the snow with your boot, do your business, throw all your stuff in there, or bring your toilet paper back to the camp and burn it. That's an option as well, depending on who you're with and their bush etiquette. But I'm going to write that one down. Give me a second here. Okay, I'll write this one down too. Discover Bushcraft says, what is the oldest piece of outdoor equipment you still use on a continual basis? Probably my zebra pot, my 12 centimeter zebra billy pot, and my 19-inch Wetterlings axe. I don't really use my 19-inch Wetterlings axe as much as I use the zebra pot still, so I'll probably rate that. I bought my zebra pot, my 12 centimeter one, 10 years ago. Let's say 10 years ago. A long time ago. And I have used the piss out of that thing. It is black. It's warped. It's like a football shape now on the top from being warped in the fire. So many winter camps just sitting on the fire. When the snow melts down, you know what I mean, there's not all that material inside getting melted or cooked or boiled or whatever. There's just this metal being heated and it kind of warps. And so now my dish fits right into it, super solid. Like it doesn't, I have to like push it stretch it out to get the dish in, and then because of that, the handle stays in position when I lift it up or take it down. It doesn't just flop, and I really like that. So from use, it's gotten better. So I'm gonna say my 12 centimeter Zebra Billy pan or pot that I originally saw Ray Mears use and talk about. So his name is Discover Bushcraft. Discover Bushcraft. And then gear. I'll put gear. Old gear. Dreadhead Deuce. I'm a long-time sub and lover of everything Joe and Scout. With that being said, what would you do if you didn't have Bushcraft or YouTube? I would still be doing the same things, except for I would be working a 9 to 5. YouTube is my job, and I am able to get away and go do these awesome trips all the time because that's my job. Because I'm coming back and editing these videos and putting these videos out. If I didn't have YouTube, I would still be doing the same things, but it would be few and far between. I would still be going and doing these trips and probably filming them. But I don't know where my outlet would be. I would have a different outlet, obviously. Filming, I started this stuff before you could be monetized, before you could monetize a video, right? If you look at my channel, I have videos going back 6-7 years. You couldn't, and if you could, I didn't know about it. Monetizing was not the gain. Money was not the end all. Money was not the issue. Money was not even the driving force. I've said this before, and I'll answer this again right now, even though this isn't the question, but I've seen it 100 times on this. I started videos to be part of a community. I was on Bushcraft USA, the forum. I'm not there anymore. I was there for a long time, and there was contests and classes that you could compete in. Bush class was a free online bushcraft gold mine where you could learn anything you needed to learn, man. You could really further yourself with this, and the way that you participated was entering video submissions for courses or lessons or tests or, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. That's why I started. I started to get love on YouTube a little while later, but it is an outlet. For me, I got a high off of people saying, oh wow, good job Joe, or liking my stuff. Literally, I'm being serious right now. I got a high off of it. I got an enjoyment out of understanding that people liked what I was doing and people would watch what I was doing and see it. I don't know if that's egotistical or not, but I enjoyed it. And that was my driving force. Yeah, turned into my job. I turned what I love to do, my passion, my hobby, what I was doing anyways, what I was paying out of my own pocket to do. Now I'm paid to do. What is your favorite park in Ontario to camp in, or favorite canoe camp loop to do? By Dan Bloomer. That's a great question, Dan. My favorite park that I've been to probably has to be Killarney, just because of how different it is and how much of a good trip I had when I went and did my canoe trip there. I went with 4 guys for 6 days in 2 canoes. It was a good time. Me, Ken, Kyle, and Doug went, and yeah, great. Yeah, Killarney has these quartzite mountains, completely white, and just this contrast against like the aquamarine blue water and the green of the pine. Just a really nice place. My favorite camp I've ever been to was the last site on my Temagami trip last spring, when we had the rapid. We were kind of in like this bay. The rapids were coming down this way, the river flowed this way, so nobody was paddling upriver this way. We were kind of concentrated in this little bay where everybody would come, anybody who came would come from this side, and we didn't see anyone over these rapids. And I was able to surf in my little boat in the rapids and stuff. Just a really relaxing last night to a very hectic and hard trip. Richard Silva. Hey Joe, great videos. You have used hammocks for camping off the ground, but my question is, have you ever tried to make a platform up high off the ground or out of a hillside to make the area to camp? There may be times if something like this is necessary due to ground condition. It would be cool if you could make a video. Yeah, that makes sense. No, I've never done that. I haven't had the need to, really. I'm not a huge hammock camper at all, and anybody who watches my videos knows that. I do like the ground. I'm a ground dweller. Yeah, maybe making something like that in the future. If I needed to, I would. Chris Morrissey. My question is, when taking your daughter out into the bush, what do you find is the most challenging to keep them interested? Do you have any suggestions for trying to pique your kids' interest in bushcraft? Yeah, oh, for sure, buddy. Very good question, Chris. Chris, you're going to get a breakdown for that one. Chris Morrissey. Your kid's already going to want to be with you, right? Depending on age. But my kid, up until hopefully a few years from now, still wants to do what I'm doing, emulate what I'm doing. The love, the desire to be out there is already there in kids. I believe that no matter what. Just making it seem fun. Making it seem fun, like it's not fun. Making it fun to them, right? So if I bring on Emerald for the day, I want to go over with her what things that we're going to bring out for the day and what she wants to do while we're out there, and include her in that part of it, so that when we're out there, it's not a surprise to her, like, oh, I wanted this book, or I wanted my doll and I don't have it, kind of thing. So I say to her, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to this camp, bush camp, for the day. We're going to cook food, and we're just going to hang out, kind of thing. What do you want to eat? And 9 times out of 10, her answer is marshmallows. And that's fine. We can roast marshmallows, but you have to understand that you have to have food first, right? So as the parent, you're bringing out some food that you know that they like, and you know that's easy enough to cook. But you're also bringing along those marshmallows to roast with them after, so they have their reward. You're bringing along any kind of toy they want. I don't care if you're wearing a backpack and carrying a shopping bag in your hand. Like, you got to make it enjoyable, right? Or they're not going to want to go. So toys, books, things for you to do with them, like a ball to catch with. A couple mitts and baseball would be perfect. I'm hoping on the coordination factor later on in life for that one. But yeah, and then you just got to make it fun for them. Don't take them out on a rainy day. Don't take them out on a freezing cold day. You know what I mean? Take them out on a nice day. Cook up some good food for them, and just have fun. Make it enjoyable. Again, if they don't want to be there, maybe it's time to go too, right? And then camping. Camping is the same thing, just magnified. You just have to have everything that they're going to want or need. Not everything that they're going to want, sorry. Things that they are going to want, and everything they're going to need. Okay, we'll do a few more. I'm running long. I've had to reset the camera 3 times, so it's like 40 minutes already or so. Joseph Clifford, what knife and hatchet styles or brands do you recommend for a bushcraft enthusiast with low budget? That's a really good question too. I get questions on axes all the time. It's hard to answer too, because like, if people are asking like, what's your favorite axe, or what is a good axe to use, a lot of the times I want to say a Gransfors Brooks or my homemade axe that Mike made for me, my Sandvik. But it's a hard answer to give, right? Because a lot of people who are asking these questions really don't know, and maybe they don't have the gear or the knowledge or ability or anything to or even the resources to get these old heads and handle them on a new handle or anything like that, or to have the funds to buy a freaking $200 Gransfors Brooks axe. That's a ridiculous price for an axe. I like Gransfors Brooks, and I have them and I use them and stuff, but don't get me wrong, it's a lot of money. What I can recommend, what I can say right now in this video is those things that I have just said, I still do believe and recommend. But if you are on a budget, if you're just starting out and you just want to try, there's nothing wrong with using a Fiskars axe. You know what I mean? Those Fiskars one-piece axes are totally fine. And you're going to be able to work on your axe skills with these cheap axes. You're going to be able to do every single thing that you can do with another axe with these axes. They're cheap and they're almost impossible to break. Fiskars axe, guys. I would go with that route over an S-Wing. But if you don't want to do Fiskars, if you don't want to do like a composite kind of handle, synthetic, plasticky looking axe, I would go with Gransfors Brooks. I would go with Wetterlings, even though I believe Wetterlings is going out of business now. Holtz Brooks, Haltefers. Once you go to Holtz Brooks and Haltefers and stuff, the quality really degrades. You know what I mean? You're getting thicker heads and you're getting thicker handles and you're getting more wedge-typed heads. What I'm looking for in an axe is a thin handle, is a thin head, is a sharp bit. You know what I mean? Like yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's what all my axes are. As far as knives, man, that Mora Garberg is a sweet knife. I can't remember how much it is, maybe $100 or something, but bite the bullet and buy it. You know what I mean? It's $100. that knife is a full tang knife. I don't see it breaking. I've used mine a little bit, and I've not beat mine up at all, but I really, honestly don't see it breaking. I've only broke one Mora in my life, and that was a old 511, and I was throwing it at a tree, and I hit it on the butt, like, just being stupid. I've seen Moras rolled, I've seen Moras chipped, I've seen Moras break and stuff before, but few and far between, and not the Garborg. The Garborg is way more robust than all these other Moras that they came out with. That said, I started with Moras, guys. I started with the Mora Triflex, the ugliest knife going, but sharp as hell out of the box, can do whatever, you know what I mean? Mora all day. If you don't like Moras, if you want to look more tactical looking, there's like the BK16s are a good knife, the BK17, if you want to, like a pry bar, the BK2, you know what I mean? Who cares? They're all under $100, I believe. And if it's your first knife or a budget knife, I would go that route. If I'm giving you my personal opinion, if it were me doing this, I'd buy a Fiskars axe, like a 19 or 20-inch Fiskars axe, and I'd buy a Mora Garborg, and I'd buy like a Laplander folding saw. Spinurka, from a videography standpoint, what did you learn the most from your time on Alone? How has it improved your YouTube channel for the better? I learned to build scenes. That is the biggest, honestly, probably the only thing I learned filming wise from there, is to build scenes. Every scene has to have a beginning, middle, and end, and even scenes within those scenes should have a beginning, middle, and end. So if you notice, if you watch lately, I try to build stories within the stories, with it scenes within the scenes, and that's why I use a lot of like fade to black now in my editing, which would be like kind of giving the illusion that the story has ended, or giving the, I'm putting that out there, that the story has ended. That little part of the story has ended, I'm on to a different scene kind of thing. That's the biggest thing I learned. I honestly think that's the only thing I learned. This one's by Lachlan Campbell. Would you have another child? It's a good question. I'm probably going to add that as my 5th question that I'm going to pick from. There are so many reasons to have another kid, and there are so many reasons not to have another kid. For the longest time, I think that I was anti having another kid. I just wanted one and done. But as Emerald is 5 now, and life is living, and things are happening, and I'm thinking that it would be nice for her to have a sibling when I'm older, when her mother and I are older, just to share the responsibilities and have somebody to grow up with and stuff. I never had a brother or a sister for 9 years. So I was an only kid for 9 years. My mom remarried and had a brother and sister. So my brother's 10 years apart from me. My sister's 9. And I always wanted a brother and sister. I remember that. And a dad. Growing up, it was like a huge thing for me. I wanted a brother and sister. And I got it. And I'm glad I have it now. I really don't want to deprive Emerald of that for my own selfish reasons. Yeah, I think we are going to have another kid. I think we are. Okay, that's enough. I have answered so many questions right now. I hope you guys aren't offended if I didn't answer your question. There's just, it's 10,000 questions, and what is this, a 30-minute video already? So if there is interest, I can do more question and answer videos down the road. I might even just turn it into like a live chat kind of thing and do it as I'm out on a camp or whatever, so that we can interact a little bit better. But yeah, let me rip these papers up, put them in a hat, and we'll pull the winner out. Okay, we got 5 people's names and 5 questions. D Scientist, Bushcraft, Blenner, Morrissey, and Campbell are all their last names. So we're going to just rip. Okay, guys, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just bunch them up like this. Okay. My hat. Okay, like you saw, all in here, right? First prize winner, who gets the heavy cover canteen, Chris Morrissey for the kid question. Let me just show you now so you don't think I'm pulling the wool over your eyes here, boys and girls. Where are we? Chris Morrissey, kid question. Okay, congratulations, Chris. Very cool, buddy. I will email you. No, I will try to contact you through YouTube. If you have your email thing on there, I will do that. If not, or regardless if I contact you, please contact me through my email. My email is on my YouTube thing. You'll be able to find it. No, not hard. Chris Morrissey. Okay, second for the knife and the pouch. D-Scientist for the poo question. I'm going to get you on here real quick again, because, you know, I'm just a cheater and a liar here, giving away things. D, Mother Truckin' Scientist. Okay, that's it. I'm done with the video. I really hope you guys aren't too off-put. If I didn't read your comment again, I just can't. I will, like I said, get to it in the future, maybe in a different format. Thank you very much for all of the questions. Thank you very much for all of the hate. Thank you very much for all of the views. Thank you very much for 255,000 subscribers now. We got 5K subs in less than a week, so that's pretty cool. I'm on the push for 300. It's going to happen soon. Nothing but good videos to come out after this. There's not going to be another talking video. There's not going to be another bushcraft base camp video for a long while. I'm going and I'm doing trips. I'm dying to get out right now. I feel cooped up and I need to go. So next week I'm driving, man. I'm going far and I'm camping, and I might even do 2 trips while I'm gone. Who knows? Yeah, lots of words to say to you guys. I'm very appreciative. I'm very appreciative that I can do this, and this can be my job, and you guys watch me. This would be nothing if you didn't watch. Yeah, thank you. Very, very, very true, very serious. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Have a good day.